Less than 4 hours south of Fort Myers lies North America's only living coral reef. This reef starts near Miami and goes to the Dry Tortugas. These are the only true coral reefs in the continental waters of the United States. According to an article posted in 2009 on the website Reef Relief, these reefs contain over 50 species of coral and 150 species of fish. I have been diving these reefs since I was 10 years old, and I have been amazed by the marine life that I have observed on the reefs. Over the past few years, though, however, I have noticed that some of the reefs were not as beautiful or as colorful as they had been in the past. This sparked my interest, so I decided to find out what was going on in our own backyard. In the next few minutes, I will show you how rising sea temperatures, hurricanes, and pollution are causing our coral reefs to die. Let's begin our discussion with a discussion on how global warming is affecting the coral reefs. Rising sea temperatures causes bleaching, a process that is killing the coral. An article published in the Washington Post on July 15, 2007 stated that ocean waters have warmed between 1.3 and 3.6 degrees over the past 100 years. Whenever sea temperatures rise even 1.8 degrees above the summer maximum, the reefs will suffer. This rise in sea temperature stresses the coral, which leaves it susceptible to bleaching. In order to understand how bleaching affects coral, we need to understand how the coral grows and how it is formed. As you can see from this picture, the living tissue of coral is white. The coral gets beautiful colors from the algae that clings on them. The algae and coral have a symbiotic relationship. The coral provides food for the algae, and the algae provides color for the coral. Notice what happens when the algae attaches itself to the coral. It brings the coral to life and allows it to grow and reproduce. Bleaching occurs when the algae are expelled from the coral, which causes them to lose their color and prevents the coral from growing. Scientists call this process bleaching because the living part of the coral is white, and if the algae leaves, the coral loses its color and its white limestone skeleton is all that remains. The coral becomes white because the tissue no longer has color, not because the coral is dead. Here's an example of a piece of staghorn coral that has been bleached. The coral no longer has color and the algae has been expelled. Once the coral loses its color, they are weak and they will eventually die. Marine scientist Paul Marshall says that it takes from 10 to 20 years for a reef to bounce back from a bleaching event. Guardian International website reported that 2005 was the hottest year on record, which resulted in a dramatic increase in bleaching. According to Guardian International, the areas most affected were in the Caribbean. The Caribbean contains more than 10% of the world's coral reefs. In August 2005, severe bleaching affected between 50 and 90% of coral colonies in this area, and more than half of these were killed. Now let's turn to another environmental factor that is affecting our coral reefs. Pollution in the air and in the water is taking its toll on the reefs. An article published in the New Yorker in 2006 stated that there is more carbon dioxide in the air today than at any other time in history. Nearly half of all carbon has been absorbed by the sea. When CO2 dissolves, it produces an acid that changes the pH level of the water. In order for a reef to survive, the salinity levels must stay between 4 and 5. Scientists predict that by 2060, the salinity levels will be down to 3.5. By 2100, they will be as low as 3. This low salinity level will kill the algae, which keep the coral alive. Scientists recently discovered that sunscreen could also be damaging coral. The Daily Telegraph reported in February 2008 that between 4,000 and 6,000 tons of sunscreen wash off swimmers and end up in the ocean every year. The chemicals in sunscreen cause a virus in the algae. The virus replicates until the algae explodes, spreading the virus into the surrounding waters where they infect the coral communities. In addition to man-made events, Mother Nature can also be hard on the reefs. The last major problem facing coral reefs are hurricanes and other weather events. After Hurricane George went through the Florida Keys in 1998, sponges and sea fans were torn from the ocean floor and washed up on the shores. Winds and waves battered the reefs, breaking off branches of elkhorn and staghorn corals. As you can tell, our reefs are dying because of global warming, pollution, and unusual weather events. As an avid scuba diver, I hope that something is done to prevent these predictions from coming true. I hope that the reefs will be able to recover from these problems and that we will not lose 7% of our coral reefs by the next generation.